Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Tuesday, the 28th of May 2019. Thanks for joining me. I'm using the Universal Tarot for this reading. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please go to my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the Book Your Readings button or the Readings tab to order your reading there. And if you like my videos, please subscribe. Let's have a look at what the cards want you to be aware of today. We have the Knave of Chalices, so the Page of Cups. Then we have the Seven of Spades, and we have the Two of Wands. Now, the Knave of Chalices, the Page of Cups, looks a little bit silly here. This look reminds me of an onion a little bit, and he's wearing a turban with a jewel in it. This is the kind of person, I don't know if you've met someone like this, but I've come across people like this where you meet someone and they're so unusual and they're so raw emotionally and they are so defenseless that you just wish for them that, oh, I really hope you start to get with the program, because if you go out like this and if you expose yourself to the world like this, you're really asking for trouble. I mean, I can just see, like, imagine he goes to school. I can just see the boys in the yard saying, oh, nice turban with a nice jewel in it and nice onion trousers. He's like a magnet for negative energy to come his way. And the Knave of Chalices really is someone who doesn't know about shielding himself emotionally, or what it means to fit into the world, or to blend in and to put up the necessary walls and facades that we all need to kind of get through society. Some of us are very unusual and very different, and this is actually an interesting topic that's come up. I remember when I was a kid, I used to think, God, I wish I was really like super flamboyant and really, really over the top, so that I would never have to come out to anybody. But I wasn't like that, and I went the other way. And I remember I was walking through school one day and I was holding my books and I was kind of holding them on my chest. And someone said, oh, look, he carries his books like a girl. And I immediately adapted my behavior and I watched how every other guy carried his books, and they carried them by the side, like on their side. So I immediately imitated that so that I wouldn't attract attention to myself, negative attention, and that I'd pass for normal. And that's something that's emotionally kind of deadening, because you're fitting into an institution and you're losing something of yourself. And he has not lost any of his originality. I mean, you could look at him and say, beautiful. I mean, this is amazing. I've never seen these kind of trousers. You look fabulous and you look truly, truly original. Now, when you apply that to an institution that's really grim, like a school or a lot of the institutions that we have in the real world, then people who want to pass for normal and who don't want to have daily trouble and get beaten up all the time, we kind of fold and we try and pass and we pay attention to everything and we make sure that we get by. Now, there are other kids who aren't exposed to those kind of institutions. Some kids are homeschooled. Other people never need to work. Some people are naturally eccentric, and that's absolutely, there's nothing they can do about it, and they're not interested in fitting in, or they can take care of themselves. Imagine, like, maybe he just seems a little bit frail to me, and as a boy, that's not a good thing, especially when you've got guys like this running around. So if it was a girl, for instance, maybe she was super eccentric and had a very sharp tongue and all the other girls would be scared of her. That would be a way of defending yourself so that you could be yourself and not get in trouble. So it's an interesting theme. It's The Knave of Chalices is the Page of Cups, and he's the one who's most innocent. He's the most authentic with his feelings. He doesn't know what to do with them yet so that they do fit into society. We get the Knight of Cups next, who's extreme in his emotions, and then the King of Cups, who masters the emotions. The Page of Cups feels things very strongly. The sea is just, everything is very raw, and everything is felt, and everything is new and causes a reaction. This little fish is popping out of the cup, kind of looking at him, and he's communicating with it. So he's naturally connected to spirit. He doesn't know what to do with that or how to use it. He's naturally creative and artistic. He's eccentric. He is loving and caring and nurturing and sweet. And it's really all of the things that we want to be and that the world knocks out of us. So it's interesting that this comes up. So you get in touch with your true self again today, the version of you, the inner child of you, who was there before you conformed and adapted to society, to pass as normal or as someone to take seriously. Because, like it or not, we all have adopted certain things from other people or from society that we think are going to help us. Some of us dress very in a certain way to get people to look at us a certain way. Other people behave a certain way to draw attention and to deflect negative attention. What becomes apparent is who and what you truly are. And this is true originality. If we all conform, life is going to be very boring. If we take a risk and be ourselves, that is not boring, but it's much riskier, because the Seven of Spades, this is someone who is stealing. This is someone who is taking other people's ideas and running with them. So this is someone who's normal. This is someone who would, normal, whatever that is, but this is someone at school who would succeed. He'd be the leader of the bullies. One, he's tall, he's muscular and strong, and he would be leading the other boys. And if someone like this came along, he would be the one who said, oh, he's weird, he's different, let's pick on him. But it is these people who have the wonderful creative ideas, not these guys who steal other people's ideas. He feels things in a certain way, but he feels negative and cynical about the world. And rather than coming up with his own emotions, he is too jaded, and he's conformed. He's someone who could have been this. He's someone who has tried to fit in and who has knocked his inner child down and has said, just fit in and shut up and be part of the crowd so that you don't get bullied. And because he's turned his inner self off so much over the years, now that he's an adult, he's got no access to his inner child anymore, and he has to resort to stealing other people's creativity and originality, which only comes from being in touch with your true self. So this is a perfect example of why you shouldn't conform. And it's a difficult topic because if I look back on my own school days, if I hadn't adapted my behavior, I would have had a much, much harder time of it, and I already did have a very hard time of it. And I knew children like this at school who were extremely eccentric, and they had so many problems that they'd get beat up, that they would have to be taken out of school, and it was really traumatic for them. So this is the kind of thing where when we're children, we all just want to belong and we all just want to be the same. And then when we're adults, we don't want to fit in and we don't want to be the same. We want to stand out. So the training is totally backwards. When you do stand out as a child, you turn it off. And then when you are an adult and you want to shine for yourself, You haven't been brave enough to maintain your truth, and then you're just like everyone else, and then you start to plagiarize. So today is a day where you can reverse time and you can recapture this beautiful young kid who is really raw and truthful, and you can get back with his feelings and ideas and his way of viewing the world. And rather than relying on other people's ideas and actions, like someone says, I want to work at the circus. So you say, oh, they want to work at the circus? I have no idea what I'm supposed to do with my life, so let me go work at the circus. And then you end up living someone else's life purpose. If you'd stayed in touch with your true self, you'd be doing what he's doing, which would maybe be an artist or a performer or something really magical. He may be designing magic carpets to ride. Who knows? So by getting in touch and rewinding the wheel of time a little bit and thinking back on the real self that you have been and that you really are, because even though you adapt your behavior, this inner person never truly dies. He may be buried under layers and layers and layers of cement. But if you contact him again, you'll be able to look at the world from your perspective, not the perspective of other people, and you'll be able to make decisions for yourself that are really going to fire you up and enlighten you and fill you full of joy, and you can live the kind of life that you want to live. So, first of all, congrats to all of the people who didn't let themselves be knocked down while they were growing up and who maintained their real selves without putting on facades and masks. I think most of us, I think 95% of us aren't that strong. I'm part of the 95% who wasn't that strong, and I tried to speak in a way so that I wouldn't be identified as different, and I tried to walk, and every little thing was looked at, and I always asked myself, will this pass as straight or normal? Will I pass or will I get bullied? And that in itself made me hyper vigilant to everything that was going on, and that in itself made me kind of psychic because I had to pay attention to every little thing so that I would pass for what masculinity is, because I didn't have any of it myself. And he is not the poster child of masculinity. And do I wish that I'd turned that off? No, I don't, because it's still in me. It was never really lost. I just pretended while I was at school so I would get through it. I don't think I've ever really lost this. And if I had been at school and I had continued to be like this, I was at a boarding school at 10. I mean, I would have just been terrorized daily. So it's really fabulous that the cards are so insightful, and they say, don't make decisions on the adapted self and what society thinks you should be doing and make decisions based on that, because that's not the real you. It will lead to other situations where you have to steal other people's ideas or you regurgitate things that have already been said. There's nothing original about you. You feel negative and cynical about the world. You feel negative and there's nothing positive happening. Instead, get creative and go back to the real you. Use that to make decisions for the future, and have that moment to really ask yourself the question, what direction, what doorway do I want to walk through? I do hold the world in the palm of my hand, and now that I'm an adult and I'm no longer in danger, what direction am I going to go in? And that's a way to balance passion and reason, and to really live a life that is balanced through your creativity and making the world something that you've created and manifesting the kind of life that you want. and clearing away the clouds and filling it with your own sunshine, bringing your own sunshine along with you wherever you go. Amazing example of how to live your life just here in these 3 cards. Number wise, we've got a court card which is 1, and 7 is 8, excuse me, and 2 is 10. 10 reduces to 1 in numerology, and 1 is the magician. 1 is listening to your inner self and then making it happen in the real world. So listen to your inner guidance today, not the guidance of other people or the norm, and then make decisions and move forward, because that's when you're going to really do things which are original, unique, which will serve you and which will make you happy. Have a wonderful day. If you would like a personal reading with me, please do get in touch via my website for a personal reading. I use the tarot, astrology, and numerology in my personal readings. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.